Hello and welcome to another Tuesday Talk with Ruby Reese. My name is Killian. I am co-founder at Ruby Reese and at dognutrition.ie, and we decided to set up this podcast because we really love talking about dogs. Shortly we will have a brilliant guest coming on talking about a really interesting topic all about veterinary nursing. And in preparing for this podcast, I was thinking all about a topic that comes up again and again and again on this podcast and also in my mind. And that is about collaborations between different segments of the dog community. And I know a lot of the listeners to this podcast are lots of you are working in the industry in some way, shape or form. Of course, we've lots of really interested pet owners out there as well. But I think lots of our listeners are trainers and groomers and behaviorists and nutritionists. And it is great to see a community kind of forming and coming together, because I think, none of us know everything about everything, and it's amazing when really specialized people come together and chat about our beloved pets. So we love that collaboration, and we see it particularly at dognutrition.ie, where we are consulting our clients on their dog's nutrition, and we're working then alongside trainers and vets and labs and all sorts of amazing specialists. So it's something that we really appreciate and love, and I think in Ireland in particular we've got a really strong group of professionals that are getting closer and closer to each other and working together and referring among each other, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. So we can only promote it and advocate for that approach, because it's so nice. Now, many people will be listening in this week, might be quite new to this podcast. So if you are new, we also recommend, once you've listened to this episode, to go back and listen to some of the other absolute gems that we have recorded with other professionals in the industry. It's so interesting to see our Irish community coming together and chatting all about these great topics and sharing people sharing their knowledge about things that they are super passionate about. Lots of people will be listening in because they're interested or curious about careers in the veterinary world, particularly in veterinary nursing. So we invite you now to sit back, relax and listen to the chat that I had with Alan from Village Vets all about veterinary nursing. Hello Alan, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing?
Good, thanks so much for having me.
Would you do us the pleasure of introducing yourself for anyone that might know you yet?
Of course I can. So my name is Alan Gallagher. I'm a veterinary nurse, but I'm also the head of client experience nationwide for Village Vets.
Amazing, thank you. And how did you get into this career, and what do you do at Village Vets?
So I actually feel so old because I'm 15 years qualified this year now and I'm talking about this, but growing up, I'm from Kilkenny originally, and I have 5 siblings. So mum and dad, when we were growing up, they didn't really like animals, and I'm not we had those 5 siblings, so it's like a zoo from my mum and dad anyway. So we had that one dog, Rusty was his name. So that's where my love first started. And for Christmas as well, I used to always get something animal related off Santi and off my parents then for Christmas. But where my real love of animals came from, we have a dairy farm. So my grandparents have a dairy farm in Tipperary, and we used to go visit them every single Sunday. And they had, I think it was 120 dairy cows, and then they had calves, they had horses. So it's a little bit sad, but what I used to do is I used to go up every Sunday and I used to take out a copybook, and I used to actually go around the farm, and with the calves I would get the copybook, I put in their numbers, I put in their colour, I put in if they're male or female, and I even put in a little markings that they had. So, and then we used to spend a lot of our summers up there as well. So unfortunately my granddad passed away in September, and he's the one that really got me focused and really wanted me to do veterinary nursing. So we used to help him carry the buckets, give the nuts to the calves. So that's where my real love of veterinary nursing came from, was from there. But when I was in secondary school, I wasn't that good at school at all, let's just say, but I attended and I did chemistry because I thought there was only six of us in the chemistry class, whereas there's like nearly 40 in the biology. So I said, right, I'll do chemistry. In fifth and sixth year, I did not pass one chemistry exam. And it was just insane. I thought my teacher hated me. And I actually just went home before the leaving cert and I said to my mom, I was like, Mom, there's no point in me doing my chemistry exam. Like, it's going to come up as a fail. And she's like, if
Mhm.
you don't do your chemistry exam, it's going to come up as a fail anyway. So anyway, I went to the past papers and I ended up getting a B2 on it. So I was pretty happy with
Yeah.
that. So when I was in school, obviously, like our career guidance teacher said, don't just pick one thing, pick multiple things just in case you don't get that choice. So I actually really loved baking. So I actually applied to do culinary arts as well. So two jobs that have kind of weirdish, hours and late hours, but I just loved to bake at the time. So
Yeah.
applied for a lot of courses in veterinary nursing. And I actually went down to St. John's in Cork. So St. John's in Cork is a certificate. It's a 2-year course. To go to St. John's, you actually have to do your leaving cert, but you also have to apply for to do an interview there. So there was actually 800 candidates that went to apply for that course, but there was only around 60 places at the time. So it was quite hard. But I had done a week's work placement in a clinic in Tipperary, so that kind of helped me. And again, in veterinary nursing, like there's not many male nurses out there. We're few and far between. So went and did the interview. I actually went with my best friend. So I actually went to primary school, secondary school, and we actually went to college together because the two of us actually got into vet nursing in Cork. So then what happened then was I think the hardest part for me was that when I was doing the nursing course, you needed to get work placement. So obviously the college was in Cork, but the clinic that I was seeing practice in was in Tipperary. So, and my work experience day was on a Thursday. I wasn't driving
Okay.
at the time. So what I had to do was I actually had to get the bus from
Yeah.
Cork to Tipperary on a Wednesday evening. And I loved my work experience. So I would go to my work experience day on a Thursday. I would be there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then Dad would collect me at 6:30 and then drop me back to Waterford bus station to get the bus back at 7 o'clock. I'd get back to Cork then at 10 o'clock at night and then go to college then on the Friday. And then I also had a part-time job, so I'd have to get the bus back home for the weekend in Kilkenny. So yeah, it was a bit mad, but
You put in the hard work for the love of animals for
yeah,
sure.
and absolutely. And I suppose I do have to really thank my veterinary nurse in Tipperary where I work, because I was there for 4 years, and she is the person. Her name is Fiona. Like, she has made me the nurse that I am today, and I have to thank her for my career because she's a phenomenal woman. She taught me everything. She fought for me to get into that practice after I qualified, because back then it was so hard for us to get jobs. And I think my dad actually made a comment saying, because I did a certificate, Dad was like, "Oh, I think you'll find it pretty hard maybe to get a job with a certificate," but I've proved him wrong, I suppose, in where I've gotten to today. When I graduated, I was on a wage of 5.25 per hour. So
Hmm.
it was pretty grim, but I didn't do it for the money. I did it for the love of the animals. But I was also a dog groomer as well. So I actually set up a dog grooming business in that clinic as well. I was also an Irish dancer, so I was trying to do Irish dancing on top of working full time, and I actually joined a musical society as well in Carrick-on-Suir and Tipperary. So I'm the type of person that cannot sit still. I have to be doing something all the time. So in that
Yeah.
clinic, like my first clinic, I learned so much. They were a great clinic to work for, but I stayed there for 4 years. I did orthopedics, I did some emergency work. There were a lot of C-sections and stuff like that. But then I thought it was the time for me to go after those 4 years. So I applied for a clinic in Cork. It used to be the old Sunbeam Vets in Blackpool. And
Yeah.
yeah, I stayed there for 4 years again. I think the grey hair comes from setting up another dog grooming parlour there. So from the stress of it all. So I stayed there for 4 years. I did orthopedic, we did laparoscopic space, I did some hydrotherapy there as well. And I did a lot of nurse consults there as well. And a fantastic clinic to work with. But I had finished with my ex there and I decided it might be best for me to move on. And I was also in a clinic where there wasn't really much career progression for me. So I
Hmm.
thought now's the time, could be right to move.
Yeah.
So that's how I've come to be in Village Vets, and literally like they are an amazing company to work for. Like my career has just flourished since I've started with them. So I started with Village Vets 9 years ago. I went for my working interview, drove from Cork to Dublin, went for that interview, was stayed in the clinic for maybe 2 hours, and I wasn't even on the M50 home. And my manager Zoe was like, "Look, Alan, the job is yours. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Oh my God, have I made the right decision? Like, what do I do?" And it was it was the time for me to go and to change. So it's always very daunting when you change clinics and a brand new team and so on and so forth. A bigger city like Cork is big, but Dublin is much bigger.
Yeah.
And yeah, I went there, and after 2 weeks, Village Vets actually set me on a business management course. Maybe they saw potential in me. I don't know. But I did a business management course, and I was the right-hand man for the head nurse that was in the clinic already. So I helped her quite a lot. So they saw that potential. I also did
Hmm.
orthopedics in there, but I actually hung up my clippers and my scissors, and I don't do dog grooming anymore, only for friends and family currently at the moment. But when in Village Vets, then I stayed in Village Vet Cabra, and I stayed there for a year after I did the business management certificate. And I
Hmm.
also then moved to our Coolock branch. So I was made head nurse and clinic manager there, and I stayed there
Yeah.
for 2 years. And then after that, I was made project manager for the company, and then I was made area manager for the company then as well. So my career just flourished. It's amazing. I left them and I became a sales rep for Duggan Veterinary Supplies. I don't know if you've heard of them before, but yeah, they're an amazing company, but just completely different to what I was used to. Um, I was always so used to be surrounded by 20 and 30 people in a clinic at sometimes, to then me going around driving from Dublin to Sligo or Dublin to Donegal, and me singing Whitney Houston. Like that could be pretty bad when you're hearing your own voice singing for those journeys. And yeah, I just found it quite lonely. And my boss then, Zoe, was on to me and was like, "Oh, Alan, please come back to us." So I actually ended up coming back, and I was one of the nursing mentors in Village Vet. So this is where I would go around and teach the new grad nurses like the skills that I had developed over those many years. And I was also part of the communications then as well. And
Hmm.
in the last 10 months, now I've been made head of client experience nationwide for Village Vets, which I'm absolutely loving. I'm very client focused. I love talking to clients. I love getting feedback from clients, which is absolutely fantastic. But some other things in regards to like my career and stuff, like I was nominated for Veterinary Nurse of the Year 3 times. So this is where my employers would have nominated me, but also my clients would have nominated me as well, which is a fantastic achievement. And then another achievement as well is, if anyone knows me, they will know I'll never feed a dog off the table. I am
Hmm.
all for weight loss clinic, so I actually got a dog to lose 35% of body fat. And I actually won Hills Pet Slimmer of the Year in 2015, and I also got runner up in 2016 as well, which is amazing.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's great to see like your passion and your drive, and you just channeling all that in one direction, and then seeing your career, I suppose, flourish. Presumably because of that, when you're bringing that really positive energy towards doing what you're really passionate about. I think it makes people nearly a force to be reckoned with, and I'm
Mm.
sure loads of people listening in will be really interested in learning more about this particular career, especially if they've clicked into this episode not having listened to us before. So I want to ask a little bit about the career, but first of all, so you mentioned now your current job at Village Vets. Maybe you want to explain a little bit more about what you do on a day-to-day basis now, and maybe a little bit more about Village Vets, and then we'll go back and kind of help people start from the beginning and kind of get that first step on the ladder, then on into kind of moving towards this career as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So my current role is I work 4 days per week as head of client experience for Village Vets. But if anyone knows me, they know I can't sit still. So I always have to be doing something. So
Hmm.
I locum then. I do veterinary nurse and locum shifts on Fridays and weekends then as well. But Village Vets are an absolutely amazing company to work for. I've been with them for 9 years. Obviously, they've treated me very well. But in Village Vets, like we do offer the highest standard of veterinary care across Ireland. And we do have cert holders. So we have cert holders in dentistry, orthopedic, ophthalmology, surgery, internal medicine. We also have an exotics only clinic in Bray as well, where we have three cert holders in exotics. And we also have a Just Cats clinic, which is based in Dublin as well. We have nearly 300 employees across all our locations. So we currently have 22 locations across Dublin, Meath, and Wicklow. And this year just gone, like we're always trying to further develop our employees that work for the company. And we have €750,000 worth of CPD available to our employees at Village Vets, which is absolutely amazing. We've also just launched like a joint partnership as well. So if we have a vet or a nurse that's been in a clinic for quite some time and there's no real progression for them to open up their own clinic, they can come and join the Village Vets umbrella as well, which is amazing. And they can get the support from HR, from recruitment, many different factors within Village Vets. And we're seeing that a lot now is like where there's been a vet in a clinic for maybe 10, 12 years and they don't have the options for them to open up and to open their own clinic. So it's an amazing achievement. We also do have a pet health plan, which is a fantastic offering to our clients as well at Village Vet. So the savings that can be made on those are amazing. It kind of takes the cost and it covers the cost over like a 12-month period. So, Killian, I know you have a friend, Shane, maybe you're in the vets quite a lot. So I don't know if you are, but we normally...
We're luckily at the moment, touch wood, we're doing pretty okay on the vet front. Yeah, but I can identify with periods where you might need to go a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. So in our pet health plan, it's a monthly subscription, and basically you get like unlimited vet consults, and we also have an out-of-hours service as well. You get one blood test, you get the vaccines covered, nail clipping, anal glands, and there's discounts off food, parasite treatment, neutering. And how the world has evolved in veterinary and dentistry is absolutely phenomenal. So we've also added in 50% off cohort procedures there as well. So again, for your dog, you could save roughly €650 per year, and for your cat, nearly €550. And we've worked that out in regards to how many times we would see a pet over like a 12 month period as well. And we're hopefully going to open a referral hospital here in Dublin as well, and we're also getting 2 CT scanners, and we've also just opened up our own out of hours. So we actually externally for the last 2 months we've opened Ashburn, so we do our out of hours, but before that they used to go externally as well. So there's loads of career progression. We've lead vets in all our clinics, we've head nurses in all our clinics as well. We have great support from animal care assistant and front of house receptionist as well, and in the background the team then are phenomenal in regards to the management. And I suppose for veterinary nurses as well, we know that the pay sometimes can't be good, but a lot of our management team in Village Vets were nurses, and we will always fight for nurses for the better pay for those nurses as well.
It's amazing, and it's amazing to hear, the technological advances and the specializations that you're working on as well. I think Ireland as a let's say a pet owning community, or a dog owning, and I'm using the legal term here, you can use guardian or whatever, but our relationship with our pets, I think, is becoming as a whole community where the tide is definitely rising, and it's raising all ships. It's really a nice time to be working, I think, as part of this community. And we talk a lot about the negatives and the areas that could be improved, but I think overall our standards in this country are rising overall. I know there's plenty of people out there struggling in the rescues and all of that, and we do still have a long way to go in so many areas, but it's lovely to see at least a level coming up. And with new people coming into the community and into the industry, I suppose it's really exciting time as well, and hopefully we'll have some people listening in that want to maybe start off a nursing career. So you mentioned you did your certificate in Cork and in St. John's College and everything. Is that the only path to veterinary nursing, or are there multiple different ways, and how do people kind of get started?
Yeah, there's multiple different ways of getting into
Yeah.
veterinary nursing. So we do have UCD, we have, which is a 4-year course, we have Athlone, we have Dundalk, we have Letterkenny, and last year there's also a veterinary nursing course just added to Kerry as well, which is amazing. We want nurses to nurse, and there is a lot of people out there that want to be nurses. But also in regards into in the last maybe last month, I think, at Lone College have just introduced the first course where you can do um, animal care assistant. You can work at the same time, but also get the veterinary nursing degree then as well, which is fantastic because you can get paid at the same time as working. The only thing that they look for is they look for you must have an animal care course and you must be working as an animal care assistant for the last 2 years. So if there are any animal care assistants out there that would like to get a nursing qualification, this is a very good way to go. I think we are kind of shifting similar. This is what they would do in the UK. So it is kind of, and this is the first one in Ireland. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the potential and the outcome of what happens from Athlone. But yeah, places can be hard, they can be very difficult to get into, but I'm here to support anyone that wants to go ahead, or if anyone has any questions, we can maybe drop my Instagram page in after the end. The other thing is,
Absolutely.
perfect.
So on the links and everything, we'll put any of the links that you want, and also to Village Vets, of course, into our show notes, so that people will be able to get them wherever they're watching this. They'll be able to have access to any of the resources. So we'll definitely do that for sure. Yeah.
And in regards to veterinary then as well, I suppose I'm here to talk about veterinary as well. And if someone wants to become a vet, so the only place in Ireland currently is UCD, but we are looking at other options here in Ireland. But a lot of our vets that wouldn't be able, that might get into UCD, there's many different paths for them to go. So we hire a lot of vets from Budapest, from Poland. So if you don't get your choice here, you can always go on further afield and get that. And a lot of our nurses sometimes go on and do vet medicine at the same time. So they will have their nursing course, but then they would further develop and maybe go to Budapest and get their get their veterinary qualification there.
Amazing. And do they have more spaces in the courses than in places, certain countries abroad, like you were saying, like in Hungary?
Oh, yeah, so Poland and Budapest, yeah, they would. And in Poland, they actually have it's divided, I think. So they have one Polish speaking college, and then they would have one English speaking. So they're divided up. So just because you're in Poland doesn't mean you have to speak Polish or anything like that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. They're looking for the talent as well, so that they can
And
the
even
universities have the.
And 100%, and even what I'm in all these forums, and like Australia love Irish nurses. Like they just says the careers that we've had, the training that we've received, like they said that we are second to none, and they're crying out. But please don't any other nurses leave to go to Australia. Yes.
Exactly. We'll have to keep them here.
Yeah, yeah. Hold them
And I
hostage.
suppose. Exactly. And I think one of the best ways of keeping them here, maybe we want to talk about like the rewarding parts of veterinary nursing jobs in particular. What have you found been really, really rewarding working with animals, particularly here in the Irish community?
Yeah, so the most rewarding thing for me definitely is when I see a patient come in and I treat them as if they're my own. Every patient that comes through, I treat them as if they are my own. And maybe we would have a dog that's really, really sick. So as an example, I had a really sick cat that was in kidney failure. So they normally have to be hospitalized for us for nearly 48 hours, and this cat wasn't eating. And again, I'm trying to entice this cat to eat. But I do a joke within village vets and stuff like that. I have like, I'm not going to sing it now, but I would have like a little song that kind of helps them to eat as if I'm feeding them. So it like really entices them. And after this cat had been eating for 2 to 3 days, like I managed to get this cat eating. And after the 48 hours, that cat was able to go home because the blood results showed that this cat was well enough to go home. So that's the most rewarding. And I suppose the other rewarding thing is just the teams that we have. Like our teams are so supportive. If I go into any of our teams, like everyone just riles together, and everyone just works together so well as a team. And I think that's veterinary nursing and veterinary for you. Everyone just combines together. And the veterinary world is so small. Everybody knows everybody as well.
Yeah. And I think, you know, that human aspect of it as well is so important, you know, building up a team of people around you, like you say, that can help support you. And because not everyone's going to have the best day every day, even though we, you know, we'd all strive to, and we do our best, I suppose, when we work in areas that we're passionate about, but you're still going to have the bad days, and it's important to have the team there to support. And I suppose maybe that's a good point as well, not to shine a negative light on it or anything, but what would you say would be the toughest parts of being a veterinary nurse?
I think the toughest part for me, and I see it all the time on the forums, is you're just about money. That's all
Hmm.
I'm hearing. And I think maybe a lot of people don't realize that in veterinary you don't get um any funding from the government. And it's quite
Hmm.
hard for us. And people don't realize that I could start my shift as a veterinary nurse at 7:30 in the morning. And as a veterinary nurse, I never make plans in the evening time because I don't know what's going to come in on that evening. And I could be in that clinic till 12 o'clock at night. And just to hear the comments that are made in regards to like, oh, all that you do is you care about money. I personally don't care about money. I am in this career because I absolutely love animals and I want to do the best for that. And it can be quite upsetting and it can be quite tiring as well. And when we hear it,
Hmm.
because we want to give the best possible care to every pet that comes through the door. And we need to get an X-ray machine. We need to get the blood test. The blood test that we run in-house, we can get the answers back within 15 minutes. So we can diagnose. We can do an X-ray straight away. We can tell if your dog's after eating something. We can get you those answers straight away. And all those machines cost a lot of money. For all our
Hmm.
inpatients and all our surgery cases that we would have, they are monitored by a registered veterinary nurse. Like we have a multi-parameter machine that checks ECG, SpO2, blood pressure. They have fluids throughout their procedure. They were covered with the registered veterinary nurse. So it's very upsetting that it always comes back down to cost, I suppose. And I
Yeah.
wish I could put on my coat at 5 o'clock and say I'm done here. But if a patient needs me, then I'm staying there. And if I have to stay till 12 o'clock at night until that patient is recovered, then I will do so. I'm not the only one that does this. I'm just speaking for the other veterinary nurses that are out there as well. So
Oh, absolutely. And I totally agree with that. You know, that anyone working in healthcare as well as working with you know, human healthcare equally so, that you're working with people that are often in pain. You're working with the people that care about the ones in pain. So in your case, pets, and you know, it's high stress levels among clients and their families and things like that. So
yeah.
it's definitely you know, something to bear in mind. I think, you know, it's always nice to just take a deep breath. I think if you're a client and just say, okay, these people are also trying their best and they chose this career path for a reason as well.
And as you said, like previously, like we could be having a bad day, and I suppose we then have
Yeah.
to like leave that behind. We could have been looking after a patient for the last 7 to 10 days in the hospital, and maybe they do pass away, and then we have to go on to the next customer, and like we have to try and move on from that and try and help us. And yeah, in veterinary, we actually have such a high suicide rate as well, so we always have to be cautious, and we always have to look out for our team members as well. And another thing as well is like Google reviews are so damaging as well to veterinary staff as well. And when they're named in these Google reviews, like it's not very nice. And we take those things very personally, even though we've tried our best to help your pet. So yeah, they can be quite damaging to employees, and we're the ones then that are in the clinic, and we're the ones then that are trying to support those people. So yeah,
Yeah,
maybe just think two
definitely.
seconds before you're going to write something and what that effect could have on someone in the veterinary profession.
Definitely. And I think it's, I suppose, everyone cares so much because it is such a kind of a pain point for everyone. You know, people care about their pets so much, you care about animals so much. So it's the stakes are really high, you know, when it gets very stressful, and you know, there's differences of opinion. You know, everyone's coming from a good place, I think, and it's then difficult
Yeah,
when the relationship sours. Yeah.
yeah, and it's hard because we know how much like your pets mean to you. Like they're part of the family. I just had one like the other day in our Ashburn clinic, and unfortunately, like this cat passed away, and it had free fluid in its abdomen, and like this lady is messaging me on my Instagram page, and I feel terrible for her, but I'm there to support her in this, and we know how much your animals mean to you, and they're a part of the family. This client had no kids, and I know how hard it is for her when she loses a pet, and I offered to give her support, that I'm there to help her, and she's messaging me now every single day, and it only happened on Thursday. So yeah, it's quite hard, and we completely understand, and we are with you, and we are there to support you as well when you're going through these tough times.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, we did a brilliant episode with Louise from Light After Loss a couple of months back. So if anyone is struggling with the situation with that like that right now, I definitely recommend either getting in touch with Louise and or going back and listening to that episode, because dealing with pet loss is definitely something that I think we should all take a little bit more seriously. And I know you do in the profession, and I know you're very compassionate, but I think not everyone is. Your neighbour might not understand it, and your colleagues mightn't. So it's always worthwhile checking out and getting the help you need. So it's brilliant as well that people can turn to you at the times of their need as well. And I suppose I wanted to talk as well a little bit about how the field has maybe changed over the years, because you started off veterinary nursing a while ago. How is the field changing, or do you feel it's ever evolving?
It is, the field is rapidly evolving, and evolving for better. So
Yeah.
just for instance, like dentistry in Ireland has literally took off. Like it is insane. In all our clinics, like we don't touch any mouths until we take dental x-rays, because we don't know what's happening underneath the gum line there as well. So
Hmm.
unfortunately as well, for your pet, if they do need any dental work, like it's not like where we would go to the human dentist and we just sit back and like we open our mouth and go, all like, but in pets, like they do need a general anesthetic, which can be a risk, and obviously it would turn out to be more expensive. But definitely the one thing that's evolving is we're getting referral hospitals setting up, we're getting emergency work set up for nurses. There's a better work-life balance. As well, when you come in village vets, like you would do 1 in 12 Sunday in village vets, which is absolutely amazing. I think when I first qualified, I was on a 1 in 2. So yeah, it's greatly evolving, definitely for the better.
Yeah, that's amazing. And thinking about your career now, do you have a favorite patient or a memorable success story, or anything like that, or is there too many to mention?
Definitely, my most memorable is definitely winning the Hills Pet Slimmer of the Year, because this was in Ireland and England. So I think there was
Hmm.
over 1,200, and just to see the difference, and I suppose the difference that I made to that pet. So that pet was morbidly obese, and the reason why it was obese was because they actually had a baby in their house, and they actually had one of those high chairs, and the baby was eating the food and then would throw the food
Ah,
down on the ground for the dog. So yeah, this dog could barely stand up and barely move. So they were into me every few weeks at the start, and then I extended them out to monthly. Then as well, we did some hydrotherapy, I basically went through a whole plan with them, and I ended up winning that Hills Pet Slimmer of the Year with a dog, and then the following year I entered a cat. Um, and I got runner up that year. But I suppose the reason why we want to pets to lose weight, is obviously we want to increase their life expectancy. They're more susceptible to becoming a diabetic as well. Actually, a fun fact is that it can be reversible in cats, but it can't be reversible in dogs. And obviously arthritis. So we have to think about a cat. And if we think of a cat, like a smallish enough cat, and they're overweight, they have tiny legs. That
yeah.
would probably be them carrying an extra 20 kilos on top of their body. So that can just cause serious damage down the line. So yeah, you'll never ever ever see me feeding a dog from the table. So I go to my friend's house, and the dog is like begging up at me. He's like, please give me something from the table, and I have to be so stern, and I have to stick to my guns and say, I'm not going to do this to you. So
And it's so important. I mean, like you say, it's for other conditions, even pre-existing conditions, like you've got your patella luxation and your things that you're
Cruciates,
putting extra stress
those
on the
joints.
body that it doesn't necessarily need. So important. And I suppose we've worked as well with on a nutritional front with a couple of people that really need to do extensive training, let's say, with very reactive dogs and things like that. And it's just like so important to kind of factor in what is going in as a total into a dog as well. So yeah, absolutely, that's an amazing achievement that you got, and it's so
Yeah, yeah,
brilliant to see someone in Ireland representing across, more on a more
UK.
European scale. Yeah,
And
exactly.
the other, I suppose, good thing is like being in my career as well in Killian, I met you at Pet Expo. We had amazing time on the stage discussing with
Yeah.
owners and stuff like that as well. But just from my career and stuff like that, like I have been to Pet Expo, Pups in the Park. I spoke there twice on the stage as well. And I've literally come back from France as well. So whereas I was the only Irish person that went to France out of 70 countries. So I was delighted to represent Village Vet, but also Ireland as well. So yeah, I suppose in this role, and I suppose I'm very visual, I suppose, on social media and stuff like that. So this does help me with my career and these opportunities that I do get as well. And I would do a lot of career fairs as well. So a lot of nurses that are in nursing colleges would often message me on Instagram and see if I can help them with their studies, or if they're finding it difficult, because people learn things completely different in regards how do you calculate fluid rates, how do you calculate dosages and stuff like that. So a lot of them would reach out to me, and I build a bond with those people then as well. So I was a nurse once, and it's now time for me to give my skills and to help other nurses that are coming up behind me, because I hope I'll be in nursing for the rest of my life. But again, I will pass away someday, so hopefully I will have changed somebody's veterinary nursing life, and I've helped them with their career.
And that's it, and it's so important, like we keep going back to it, but community, it's like we all have to learn somewhere, and it's so important to build that up. And talking about working, I suppose, with both animals and with the human public, have you ever had a funny or unexpected moment at work?
Oh my God. I actually have two funny moments, and one actually involves Tinder, which is with the client. So I'm literally like, should I tell the story or should I not? But I actually think it's quite a funny story. So I'm not going to mention the clinic that I was in, but I was in one of our village vets clinics, and the receptionist handed me the phone and they said, this client wants to speak with you on the phone. And this client would come in every single week to us because it was like on injections every single week. The cat was really sick. And I said, yeah, no bother. I'll talk with her. So picked up the phone, and she was just like, "Oh, Alan, I'm just wondering, like, are you on Tinder?" And I said, "No," I said, "I'm not." I said, "I'm actually like in a relationship, so it's definitely not me." And then I think about someone's after catfishing me, and I was like, "What? What was going on in regards to the situation?" And the girl is like, "Oh, I actually replied back to the person because I actually thought it was you in the clinic with the team, like giggling and laughing, making a joke out of it." I was like,
Oh,
"No, it's actually not me." But she had asked the question, "Do you like to dress up?" And this person, I don't know if it was male or female, replied and says, "Yeah, I do." And then she is like, "What do you like to dress up as?" And then they were like, "Oh, I like to put on like a uniform and a Garda uniform." And then she replied, "Do you not like to put on like a nursing uniform?"
yeah.
And then she realized like this is somebody that's catfishing um Alan. So
Okay.
she actually sent us the screenshots of the whole conversation and everything like that. So but it was just so odd in regards to how it happened and who was that person behind that video. And then I had to be the person that had to go in every single time this person came in. And it was very awkward for me to start, but also I felt terrible for this client as well, because she was the one that had to come in and face me as well. But another funny story, and this is to do with an animal this time, not to do with me,
Hmm.
but we had a Cocker Spaniel that was in one of our clinics when I first graduated. And dog had been vomiting for 2 to 3 days. We admitted the dog to the clinic, and we did some X-rays. We did an ultrasound. We took some bloods, and then we kind of thought, okay, this dog might have a foreign body. So the owner
Mhm.
consented to go for the general anesthetic to open the dog up and to see if there was something blocking, and there was something blocking. And normally what happens is when we find an object inside, what we actually do is we actually keep the object, and when the owner comes back, we're like, would you like to see the object that it was?
Yeah.
So uh, a man and a woman came to the clinic and brought them into the consult room. We're like, would you like to see what we took out of the abdomen of your dog? And they're like,
Mhm.
yes, please, we'd love to see it. So obviously I have to clean it up and I have to, but I was not expecting when we pulled this out what it was. So we pulled it out, we cleaned it, we brought it into the client, and we have it in a clear bag. So it was a woman's knickers, and we brought it in. Look, pretty fancy knickers to me. And the man and the woman were like, "Oh my God!" But the woman actually turned around. She was like, "They're not my knickers. I don't know where this dog pulled these
Oh
out
my
of."
God.
And the woman looked at the man, and the man is like looking back at her. And I don't know what happened from there when they left that room, but whether the dog picked this up somewhere outside or what else was going on. But yeah, we only saw her for the post-op checks, and we didn't see him. So I don't know what happened here, but I thought it was a very funny story because we've removed corn on the cobs from dogs. We've removed socks from dogs. We've removed plastic toys, tennis balls, bones. But to find something like this was, yeah, we see it a lot, but the obviously the reaction that we got was not something that we expected. So yeah, that was kind of
Definitely.
a
They
funny
got more than they
story.
bargained for. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm sure that that husband had to do more than get a
yes,
bunch of flowers after
yeah,
that conversation. Oh
yeah,
my God. So
crazy
that
stuff.
this is what happens when you work with both animals and the public, right?
Yeah,
It's
and
insane. The
a lot of people would say, "Oh my God, it's so nice! Like you get to cuddle puppies, you get to cuddle puppies all day. You don't have to talk to humans." That is not the case. There's so much more to work in veterinary. Me as a person, I love talking to the public. So give me nurse consults all day over surgery. I was an orthopedic nurse for many years, and for me to sitting, I'm definitely self-diagnosed ADHD. Like I can't sit still is my problem.
Mhm.
And when I was doing orthos, I'd have to stay in the same room for at least sometimes 2 hours. But now I just love nurse consults. Give me reception, let me talk to the clients because I absolutely love and adore it, and I love building that bond with them as well.
That's amazing. I love to hear it. I love all the passion that you bring and all the stories and everything. It's fascinating. It comes very very clearly across that you love what you do. Um, what See you now just to wrap up talking a little bit more about the future outlook, and I know we don't have a crystal ball here to see what's on the cards for us all, but what do you think is, I suppose, across the board coming in the future, both or kind of a triple whammy maybe for you, for veterinary nursing in the veterinary world, and also for village vets.
Yeah, so with my career, I suppose I have done very well for myself, and I'm very proud of
Mhm.
what I've achieved to date. And who knows what the future is going to hold for me. I'm very happy in Village Vets; like they treat me so well. So I have no reasons to go elsewhere. And then as a
Mhm.
veterinary nurse and as a profession, like we still have such a long way to come. I have seen job ads up for 28,000 per year and looking for an experienced nurse. Again, I've mentioned already, like management in village vets, a lot of us are nurses and we're fighting for nurses. So I believe in village vets, like we do pay for our nurses as well. And it really deflates me when I see this in regards to the wages that are being offered down the country. As well.
Mhm.
And in regards to Village Vets, as a company, again, there's an exciting times for Village Vets. I've mentioned about the joint partnership. So if there's a veteran nurse that wants to discuss it further, we can get you in contact with the right people. We do have clinics in Dublin, Meath, Wicklow, and we have clinics in Cork as well. We are expanding. And the reason why we really want to expand is because we want to share the high standard of veterinary care that we offer in our Dublin, Meath and Wicklow clinics, and we have recently just entered Cork as well. So this is the reason why we want to spread the love of village vets. We want to spread the high standard. We want to offer the staff amazing opportunities, and if they would like to go and develop their career further with certificates or that down the line, then we're obviously there to help you. And I suppose it's about good work-life balance as well when you work for a big company like Village Vet.
That's amazing. Alan, thank you so much for coming on and sharing so much knowledge and also your personal experiences and stories. It's really, really nice to hear it and get, you know, first-hand experience from a professional. It's so appreciated. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Killian. It was great.
Thank you. See you again soon, Alan.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. And once again, a huge thank you to Alan for coming on and joining us for this podcast episode and sharing such valuable information for so many of you listeners out there. If you would like to see a little bit more about what goes on at Village Vets, or what Alan does on a day-to-day basis, or indeed what we do at dognutrition.ie and at Ruby Reese, please check out our show notes wherever you're listening to this podcast. We'll have put in the description loads of links and resources for you to check out. We will be back with yet another podcast episode next Tuesday. Thank you very much for listening in. Do like, subscribe and follow this podcast wherever you listen to it. We appreciate your interaction with us so much. And we love that you listen in every week to the podcast as well. So thank you very much from us, and see you again next week.